companies still do this and spend a ton of money on it because it works. And whether they get corporate seats and suites and other benefits or whatever, private things, and they get to meet the athletes and schmooze their clients and all that, there's an ROI there somewhere. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Let's move on.
All right, so we'll go to your...
Yes, we make bad decisions no matter how well we are.
Now, did you see this move from Astronomer? Did you see the video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the recap, this was Astronomer's CEO and his HR rep at a Coldplay concert. Again, if they had just sat there, smiled and waved, this probably would have gone nowhere. They didn't.
Do you think there's anybody right now who's like, oh, I never saw that picture. What is that about?
No. That thing went viral.
Supernova viral.
Nova viral, right? Now, you guys are pretty smart. What's Astronomer do?
They're like data infrastructure, but I heard about it after. I didn't know what Astronomer was before this.
I had never heard of the company before.
Neither did
Yeah, their SEO absolutely exploded, and I know this was kind of the long tail of it.
Sure. So here's what we'll just take a look at the strategy of what their communications department did afterwards. Now, it's not a mistake that they hired a celebrity spokesperson. You want to generate attention, recognizability. Gwyneth Paltrow, known for some things, especially Goop. She's also famously lead singer of Coldplay's Chris Martin's ex-wife. So there's not an accident that she was picked. She wasn't just the first celebrity that was available. So I don't know. Do you guys think it was a good move? They brought her on and she read a spot, which was kind of cheeky because she kept sounding like she was going to address the elephant in the room, and she didn't, which obviously was the built-in joke. Here's the thing. They paid her millions of dollars, right? My question is, who was it for? I mean, half of a percentage point, a tenth of the population would ever even use Astronomer? Like, did they need that? Did they need to use a sledgehammer to kill the fly? Or should they have taken that money, that time, that effort to actually go ahead and shine a light on the people who are actually going to make decisions to use Astronomer or not? Those people are looking at Astronomer, and you know what they care about? Are they going to move the data and do the things that Astronomer does to make my business still work? Now, I have questions in their decision-making ability if they don't release their CEO, right? Even though that has nothing to do with data. But you're like, hey, if this guy's doing this, what else is he doing? So Astronomer did the right things, and then they went online and they made this, cutesy little video, which I think is on the surface a good move. Like, it puts them in a different light. I'm just sitting there at the communications department come December 31st. Was the ROI on writing a check to Gwyneth Paltrow, did that do anything for our business? Now, it's hard to measure because this is brand. I just think they shine the light in the wrong direction. Like, this was for everybody in the country who's never going to use Astronomer. The people who are actually potentially either using or potentially going to use Astronomer, they were looking at this going, cool, but what's this mean for my data? So I thought this was interesting because it was so public.
I agree with you, and I think there's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing here because Gwyneth Paltrow and Coldplay's Chris Martin, who shouted them out when the camera was focused on them, and then said like, "Oh, they're either very embarrassed or they're having an affair or whatever." So this was a way. I think Astronomer and the board or whatever probably said to the CEO like, "Hey man, like this is bad. Like we got to let you go. You got to resign or whatever." And he did. So he resigned, and they might have also said, Jimmy McKay or the internal Jimmy McKay version of our communication department, we're going to put something together to like make this, this is like a kudos to the CEO who's walking out the door. We're going to do a little Gwyneth Paltrow thing because she used to be with Chris Martin, and Chris Martin was the one that kind of made fun of you publicly, and then it became supernova viral. So I think they did this more for the CEO who was walking out the door, which also doesn't make any sense.
You don't know that guy. That was you. No. Like, he screwed up. Like, he shined a light, right? So,
right.
I mean, I want to pay attention to strategy. I think me 10, 20 years ago would have loved this. Like, I had a chance to interview Wes Scantlin, who is the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. Might still be the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. I'm not sure. And he was dating the girl, whoever was on the cover of Playboy, like that month when he was walking into my radio station, and they had just broken up. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. I'm going to bring this up live on air. I'm going to make him super uncomfortable. And then someone pulled me aside and they go, that will do that. What's the point? And I was like, well, people will look at me and they'll know that I was edgy. And they're like, okay, but will they? And what's the point? So I didn't do that. Like, because I looked at it, like, look, there's a button I can push. And we all know what a red button looks like. Oh my God, don't push the button. I gotta push the button. And luckily somebody pulled me aside and was like, okay, they didn't tell me not to do it. They just said, all right, that you have a perfect timing opportunity. You can ask this guy who just got publicly broken up with about his girlfriend who's on the cover of Playboy magazine. You're a rock radio DJ. Can't wait. Why are you pushing the button now? And I was like, because it's there. I think they did this because somehow somebody pitched, I need $5 million for Gwyneth Paltrow and a bunch of ad dollars. And they go, and they must have made a really great pitch, but they never asked, what's this going to do? Does this wash off the stink? I don't think that it will. This is going to go away in 6 months, dude. We'll be on to a new Hawktua. Remember her? No, right? This will go away.
Yeah,
I think 0.00001% of the population is who you should have been focused at. Take the money, take the effort, take the time, solidify their relationship.
I think they just got so much free press and free exposure because of this, and they were like, we could pay Gwyneth Paltrow. Like they already have free money. They are, they might have or free exposure or more clicks or whatever. More, they definitely had more like visitors to their website and Google queries and searches and all that. So if they got some money from that, maybe they got some new customers from that, or some customers that were on the fence and went with them, perhaps. So I think they were just playing with house money, and they're like, maybe we could, we had this big viral fire. Maybe we could just throw a little more gasoline on this fire. I think that's what.
Then why doesn't PT as a profession do this every time someone's found, one of us is found guilty as fraud? Like, why don't we just have a major ad campaign going like, hey, they did that bad thing. We don't do that bad thing. Like, why don't we do that? Because we want to separate ourselves from those things. That was weird that they sort of like leaned into this and put a tongue in cheek. I don't see the ROI on this.
So help the rest of us understand this, because Jimmy might have the best perspective. I still don't understand. Okay, there's, Paycor across the top of either the Bengals Stadium or one of the big professional sports stadium here in Cincinnati. I don't even know what Paycor does. Like, where is the return on that investment? Staples Stadium and all of these big, throwing sponsorship dollars out at things. I don't understand the return on that investment.
Yeah.
You're in that world. What would you say?
I mean, I remember this. They changed the name of the arena in Wilkes-Barre when I was working there. And I remember like sitting down with the staff, and like their staff came to us like, we buy ads, FYI, like the stadium is now, used to be Wachovia Arena, and then it became the Wells Fargo Arena, right? So it was like, make sure you say this because they paid for it. And I remember sitting there as a junior member of the team being like, we can call it whatever we want. Can we? We can call it the Scratch My Ass Arena if we wanted to. Well, yes, but keep in mind, we play in the sandbox with this organization, and we want them happy, because I don't know if you ever see the return on investment in that. I think it's something you do because I think there's some invisible perks that you think you get, because now you get boxes, you get naming rights, it's mentioned in the ether. I don't know if you ever get the ROI on that. I'm not 100% sure that you do.
So yes and no. I agree that it's hard to track the marketing attribution of like someone who goes to where my Phillies play, Citizens Bank Ballpark. Right. But the amount of times that the announcers or other players or fans, when they're like, oh, we're going to the bank, we're going to Citizens Bank, and then they post on Facebook and they tag, at Citizens Bank Ballpark, like the amount of times that you don't even realize, you subconsciously see that brand, that name, the bank, the insurance company, whatever it is. No, there's not a dollar for dollar marketing attribution to connect each consumer to seeing it because they paid for a 10-year naming right for a stadium or whatever. It's branding. These companies are so gigantic that they have these big budgets, and they're like, well, we're going to get taxed, depending on how our, adjusted EBITDA is, we're going to get taxed on this and whatever. So we might as well invest. And it's really like, they're investing like for us, like when we're paying for, Google and Facebook ads, like we need that money back, like within months and definitely within the same year. These companies are like, we need this back in like 10 years. Like we're getting this in front of people in the next 5-10 years. And we're going to get customers like, that, become, they kind of
legacy.
They kind of become legacy. They kind of they kind of become like a snowball, and then it becomes like an avalanche over time. So the fact that companies still do this and spend a ton of money on it because it works, and whether they get corporate seats and suites and other benefits or whatever private things, and they get to meet the athletes and schmooze their clients and all that, there's an ROI there somewhere. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
This isn't how you grow. This is how you stay on top. This is how you become Kleenex or Cadillac, right? If you're close, like if you're close to the top or the top, this is how you stay there. If you're like didn't GoDaddy do that? I'm like, that was a mistake. That was a blow. That was a money blow, because they were trying to convert websites, in my opinion. GoDaddy had an arena at one point, or when GoDaddy, like, that's just not on that level. So yeah, you become the ether, like Toyota Pavilion at Montage Mountain. Like it was the Toyota. We stopped even calling it Montage at that point. It became the Toyota Pavilion. Like they were smart enough to say, instead of doing Montage Mountain powered by Toyota, they flipped it. So you dropped that word. So it became the ether. But this is a way to sort of blanket. Can you measure that? No way. Is it there? Yes. I was sitting at Citi Field the other day, looking at all the ads and looking at who sponsors the 7th inning stretch. And I'm like, that's a crazy ad spend. But I'm like, look at, I don't know how many people, 50,000 people looking at your thing for 12 seconds. 12 seconds is nothing. 12 times 50,000 people is a lot.
Now, I guess this is the difference between like a direct response, I'm putting something out for a specific response versus this general branding.
This also goes to when people say like the APTA should do a campaign, a national campaign, because you owe us, you're our, I was going to say governing body, but you're our professional association. So this is what you should be doing. They're not good at that. That's not what they're built for. They're an association. So when you say they should invest in a campaign, why doesn't PT have an arena? Where's that money coming from? Like, okay.
They could sell that $40 million building.
But then they wouldn't have an association, because where are they going to put people to work?
So let's take a look. Let's take a look at my photo, the photo of the screenshot of Bob or Don. All right. So if I'm asking you guys now, did either of one of you see the follow-up video, the real video of real Don, not AI Don?
Yeah.
Okay. Dave and I talked about this last episode. Jimmy, we miss you for it. For anybody not watching, down at the bottom, you can see 537,000 views. This is an 8-second video. You can take it down. It started with a still picture of Don. Don is not a physical therapy patient. He's an independent exerciser, non-covered maintenance. He's been around for a decade. Took a still picture of Don on the UBE. Said, Don, check this out. I'm going to make you say a joke. Don and Dale love to come in. They tell jokes the whole time they're in the clinic. This has been a story that's been, shared on social media multiple times. I think for that one, I went to either Gemini or Flow, used VO3, put the joke in. It created the video of Dale telling the joke. It didn't exactly look like Dale, but it looked pretty darn close. Put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Instagram took off. Within 24 hours, it was at 40,000 views. By that night, it was over 100,000 views. Through the weekend, Don comes in. So this was Friday. Don comes in Monday. Boom, Don. I'm calling for my wife. So Kathy's in the clinic. I'm like, Kathy, get your phone. Show Don the video. Show him the views, because I want to capture his genuine reaction. My wife is like, what's your problem? Just show him on your phone. I'm like, no, because I can't capture that moment. I know it's going to be a good moment. So she comes out, she scrolls, she shows him, he gives us just like a golden response. It was the best response I could have asked for. Long story short, this comes back to the conversation we were just having. What's the value in that? Okay, it got me 500,000 views. Cool. Didn't sell me any appointments, didn't book any appointments. Doesn't even say anything about physical therapy, but in my mind, what that does is it helps to grow the social account. Probably put on a couple hundred followers on Instagram. It lifted everything else on my Instagram channel. We're at like 1.3, 1.5 million views on the last 30 days for Instagram. And I think it gives a sense for the culture. You know, it gives people a sense, people that are around here that would be prospective consumers of our service. They'd be like, oh, this looks like a cool place. You know, I don't see ATI and Atletico and the other places doing something like this. So I don't think there's a direct, but it also cost me 20 cents. It cost me 20 cents to create that AI video. So, you know, that's the difference between $20 million to put total therapy solutions across the Red Stadium versus 20 cents to get 500,000 views on a cute little video.
So the answer is, which should you be doing? And the answer is all of them if it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I agree, like someone like Will Boyd, who I think was watching a minute ago, is like, listen, paid is the way to go. If that's what, you know, if that's the thing that you need, is organic going to bring you patients in the long run? Depends. Like, what are you creating? And is that part of your strategy? Because none of this is simple to do. I was talking with someone who just took over marketing in a really large organization. And I said, what's your first order of business? And she said, figure this place out. And I was like, that's the right answer. The right answer is not set up the social team or check the SEO of the website. It's like, hang on a second. What's the point? Which way is this boat going? What's the best sail or engine or rudder that's going to get us there? Then decide, do I have the right sailors on the boat? Do I need to bring more? You can't, there's no budget. Great. Then strip it down. What's going to make this boat go fastest in the right direction?
Which is exactly what a good physical therapist does. When Dave evaluates a patient, he doesn't go in with a preconceived notion of, all right, let's start doing those glute sets. Let's start squeezing that butt. He's like, well, what do you want to do? Like, why are we here? What's the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? Where do you want to be in 30 days, 90 days, whatever? We can translate those clinical thinking skills into anything that we want to do. What Dave and I talked about last episode that I want to hear Jimmy's perspective is, okay, you see these amazing things coming out with AI video. What do we do now? Like, how do we apply this? How do we avoid the trap? Because I see it. I heard 2 women yesterday say it. Well, I tried to do home exercise videos with AI video and it didn't work. Who the hell needs a home exercise video with an AI video? Like,
just nice videos like the one you posted that get attention, that could either attract future patients, referral sources, or future physical therapists. That's my, what do you think, Jimmy? Any nice video that has a nice sentiment, that's positive, that's maybe uplifting, that gets a laugh or a joke or whatever, a smile, I think is perfect. And that's what Tony's video demonstrated.
Are you making me laugh? Are you making me smarter? Like, are you entertaining me? Or are you making like, so like, I see what someone's doing with like, well, here's this tool with AI. Let me run my old problems through it. And let me just create a library. And then it didn't work. It's like, well, it wasn't designed for that, but you tried to use it for that. So like, look at the tool and try to figure out what it's for first, right? I mean, what was the first widespread use that we talked about on this show of AI generated videos? Yeti. It was Yeti and Sasquatch and Bigfoot, right? Because it worked. It was like these little vignettes, right?
Purely entertainment.
Purely entertainment, right? We'll start to figure this out. I showed some of those AI videos that you made, Tony, and I showed them to a friend and her kids, and they were like, that's clearly AI. And I go, you didn't know that until, I forget which patient it was yours. It was on the speed ladder. He like sort of did like a breakdance move and got up. And I was like, I didn't know it was AI. I think I got a pretty good eye. And I also go, it's July. Dude, by March, you don't think this technology is going to have progressed to the point where I literally sat there dumbfounded when my friend was like, how are we going to regulate this? And I was like, you can't. Like, you can't. We will try because we love to do that, right? But the genie's out of the bottle, man. Like, there's already.
I hope it doesn't get there, because that's like, do we show up and do these live shows ever in the future? Like, then we just sleep in. Tony goes for runs Tuesday and Thursday morning, and we don't have to do it anymore.
Wasn't there that Microsoft podcast that was just AI talking to AI? Like, they essentially gave it a topic and they had a conversation created. I mean, honestly, I like to think of myself as pretty forward thinking. I think I've even sat down like in the dirt in the last 3 to 6 months and just said, I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea where this is going to go. It's harder and harder to see beyond the horizon because of how fast it's moving. Like, you used to see something like when a new piece of technology used to come out, when we were in radio, we got texting. You could SMS text lots of people at the same time. We sat there, we all looked at it on the table, we walked around, we were like, we could do this, we could do this. Then we sort of figured out what to do. We played with it, we banged on it. We were like, it doesn't work here, it does work here. Let's go this way. And then we sort of figured it out. This stuff's moving so fast, people can't even wrap their heads around it before someone is leaps and bounds going so fast. Did you see the Instagram account for the AI scribe that was doing all the off-color jokes, right? That's a bad idea if you want to brand yourself as this one thing. It's a great idea if your problem is get as many eyeballs on your scribe as possible because your goal is market share. Because they could change the name of that account tomorrow and all of a sudden rebrand with the same followers, right?
Yeah.
So like that's a brilliant idea. Did you see the account? I think I just flung it to you guys in the group chat. It's an adult sexual arousal gummy. And the entire Instagram account looks like just a first-person video of a girl talking about her sex life. And then she brings up this like get cubes or something like that. It's an aphrodisiac cube. But the cube is like the third character in the series. She's a very attractive female talking about very risque, topics. So it gets
attention. They're not sponsoring the show. Go ahead.
They're not sponsoring this show, right? But I was like, it's a brilliant delivery method, right? So like they're using non-AI video and surging because they understood what the assignment was. My grand point, or where I'll shut it up, was if you think AI generated video is a way to make a library for exercise videos, you're looking at a hammer and you're using it wrong. Like it's the wrong direction.
Now, I won't say I didn't have that same thought. Like I absolutely was like, oh yeah, hip bridges. Let me see it. But let me ask you guys, like you guys are forward thinking, you guys have time and room to breathe in what you do. Are you guys doing it? Are you experimenting with it? Are you trying to figure it out? Like just this morning on the way here, there's a new method to prompt videos where you take this still. For people who don't already know this, like I start with a still image, and in Flow, which is a Google product, you put the still images. You could do it in Gemini too. You put the still images and it creates the video from that still image. But now what you can do, somebody realized you can make notes on the still image. So I could have taken the image of Don. I could have drawn a hat on him, just like a stick figure hat. I could have made little notes, and the AI will recognize the instructions on the image and then create the video based on that. This is where this comes in and that goes out, and this is what we're doing. I'm learning new stuff every single day about how this works. Are you guys, you two, Dave and Jimmy, are you doing anything with any of this? And if not, why not?
So not yet. I'm still working my way through the captions app. Thank you, Jimmy, for the suggestion, and working on a little CapCut. I have a video. I was joking around, working out on the turf field yesterday, had my shirt off, filming myself, and about 100 or 200 feet away, I laid a trash can down and I threw literally the first try. I threw a baseball like 4 hop into the trash can. I got it on video, and I'm thinking maybe I'll post that, but I don't know. Like, no, I haven't tested any of the AI stuff, but I think if the intent is there, like you, Tony, like if the intent is there around building your following, building your account, I think it makes a ton of sense, and you can attract more people. It's like a bug zapper. You're attracting more folks to your account, and then some will decide to follow and, engage or whatever. And then some of them maybe reach out to you for learn Medicare billing, or they reach out to you to, if you're hiring or whatever, or you're going to get some patients from it. But no, I haven't worked on the AI video stuff yet.
Jimmy?
No. And simply because of overload and bandwidth, right? Like
Yeah.
I need to drop something, and I'm going through like just a giant, like, what the hell am I doing with everything right now? Probably a good thing, right? Every once in a while, stop and sit in the sand, right?
It's good to say no. It's good to say no. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so that was the thing I was taught. Like everything I come back to is like lessons I learned in radio, because that was just where I grew up. And it was like, you don't get killed by the songs you don't play. So this was like when record reps would come pitch us a song, and they're like, you got to be playing this, you got to be playing this. And my boss was just like, whatever song you're playing for 3.5 minutes, that's all you are. Radio is one dimensional. All we were was sound. So some people look at that as a limitation. I look at that as a strength. So like whatever we are, whatever we're playing, that's all we are for 3.5 minutes. So like you only have 168 hours in a week. Now you could have other tools to leverage virtual assistants or AI, but like, what are you doing? And does the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, come into play? It's still around. Like the 80-20 rule is still around. So I don't think this means, what I'm not saying is don't try stuff. What I'm saying is when you're going to buy a new shirt, you got to go to your closet and throw a shirt out, right? So if you're going to pick something up, you got to stop doing something, because otherwise you're half-assing everything. I'd rather you whole-ass one thing.
So for people watching, a couple of new things that I'm experimenting with, I'm taking real video, interjecting AI elements to the real video, and then finishing with real. I just actually saw a guy do that this morning, but I started playing with that. So to Jimmy's point, I shared a video. It's horrible video, but somebody going through the agility ladder, it's a real person, real video. Then it breaks to an AI generated version. It was supposed to be the same person doing a cartwheel through the video, through the agility ladder. And then it was going to end up back to the real person again. But I am just trying different iterations, trying to figure out, I'm not interested in putting like a fake testimonial. Dave and I talked about this last week. Dave, I was trying to brainstorm. I'm like, okay, what is an animal that's representative of Ohio so that I can make that my business animal mascot? Jimmy, you didn't hear this, like the Geico gecko.
Oh yeah. I was listening.
A Bengal?
I don't want any kind of copyright infringement. I want to be aware of that. So like the closest thing I could come up with was a groundhog, and it gave me a really good groundhog, but it was too realistic. And then the mouth movement wasn't in line with the audio. So I am working on trying to develop some sort of AI animal mascot, and then seeing if I could use that to do something to, again, just build awareness and make a connection. I do really like, you guys remember this, like famous figure, Abraham Lincoln, photo of him that then starts talking and shares, a story or information or anything like that. I took an older guy sitting by a creek fishing. I had him tell a joke. Jokes are just the easiest. He was like, you're only young once, but you can be immature the rest of your life. And it was cute, and so like, I'm trying to think of what can I do with something like that, maybe where I take life lessons that apply to physical therapy that are somewhat motivational, and get just established pictures or photos or characters, something similar there that people would kind of recognize, but not sure why they recognize it, to grab their attention. So those are the things that I'm trying to do with it right now. But if anybody has real specific questions about how to do it, just put it in the comments or reach out to me directly.
I know we're running out of time. We didn't get a chance. Did we share the post or the screenshot from Tony, the 9 million views? We have time for that?
Yeah,
Maybe next time.
So this is in line with it. Each platform right now is performing well in different ways. This is from Facebook business page, the big spike that you see. So I put the marker on July 4th. That is where things started to go up. That is where I also started posting 4 to 5 short videos a day. These were videos that had already been published. Facebook or Instagram offered to schedule 100 posts for me. I said yes, and it started to lift the channel. Then you see it gradually decline, but then one of those short form videos, it was a 5-second video of a woman after a knee replacement, spiked to 4 million. I think it was like 4.5 million views. That's the big spike you see. Then it came back down, not as low as it was. It was averaging like 150,000 views a day. The second spike was another knee replacement video that hit, I think, 1.5 million views. But I think people like seeing behind the scenes. So anybody looking, 9.3, 9.4 million views so far on the 28-day cycle. $758 in ad revenue. That's money that Facebook is paying me. And then 25,000 interactions. So I want you guys to remember, This account really started October 2024. Prior to October 2024, the account was there. I hadn't posted for like 3 or 4 years. There was that break. I didn't do anything. I was at 5,000 followers, 2,500 followers, something like that. October 24th, I'm like, I'm going to start building Instagram. It auto posted to Facebook. Facebook started catching, some traction. And now it's at 24,000 followers. So I don't know how many months that is. Somebody else could do the math. It had been averaging 1 million views a month. It's going to hit 10 million views in this month, but that was 2 what I would consider viral videos that drove that. And so Facebook business page right now is by far my best performing outlet.
These platforms want you to create content for them because that keeps people spending time on their platform. So they will reward the people that do it. For all intents and purposes, Tony's videos are awful. What I mean by that is they're not professionally produced. He's using a phone. There's no professional music. The editing's okay. Like it's Tony's videos are all B pluses, right? The problem is you're trying to make you're trying to make a movie and Tony's not even making TV. He's making radio, which is, I'm going to ship this good enough right now. And that wins, right? Like you could spend all day making a cinematic video, but knowing that you need to be really good at that. The audience has to want to see it and spend a lot of time on it. And that's not the stuff Tony's making. Tony understands he's making something to be consumed right now in the moment. It's going to put out 20 shots, knowing if 2 hit, it lifts the rest of it. So I think a lot of times people overthink this, myself included, of what the value is of the things that you're making.
Let's do parting shots. I really love what Dave's doing on Concierge Pain Relief. Go check it out on Instagram. That's where I was this morning. I was flipping through. I think the videos are coming along. I think they're achieving the objective. I think you just got to double down. And I cannot wait for your guy to get more confident. I feel like he's probably got all the knowledge, all the skill, everything he needs. I don't know if it's in his nature even, but man, if he just brought a little bit of confidence across that camera, you would skyrocket what he's doing.
Yep.
That'll come, man. Like the minute you forget there's a microphone or forget there's a camera, that's it. Yeah. That's 90% of what people do as a host. Like think about that word, host and guest. My job is to make you feel comfortable. Everybody's like, your job is to ask the most insightful questions. It's not. Like, it's not to be the smartest person there in the room. Otherwise, why do you have a guest? If you're so smart, just do a solo show. Like, so what your guy is doing it's simple. Just forget there's a camera. Be you. It's not easy, right? And also, like, some people's personalities are a little more easy to watch or desirable to watch. So, like, that might be him. Like, only you would know, or only his people around him would know. Like, people have asked me when I was in radio or when I was starting the show was like, is that really you? And I'm like, hang out with me for 2 hours. I can fake it for like an hour, but the second hour, it's either going to be me, right? Like, So yeah, when you're on camera, like you're naturally going to be a little bit more amped up. Repetition is the only thing that beats that out of you.
And I was just like, I already filmed this stuff. I'm like, I don't care if it's good or subpar or what, like it's recorded, it's filmed. Like we're doing stories, we're doing posts, we're doing captions. Like I'm getting it out there. I know it's not great. It's like Tony said, it's going to get better. And that's the difference between me and others. Like there's others that would probably not post that stuff, that if it's not totally, perfect and ready and charming and, charisma and all that. So I'm just like, it's showing a therapist, it's showing one of our clients. Let's get it out there. Let's go from there.
Hawk Tuah girl is sitting on a beach somewhere right now because she was talking about Hawk Tuah outside a bar. Had they decided not to ship that, I mean, Seth Godin has that phrase. It's called ship it. In fact, if you Google the Ship It Journal, the Ship It Diary, one of those things, he gives away a free resource. He's like, the biggest limiting factor a lot of times is you're letting perfect be the enemy of good. Ship it, push it, send the email, right? It's probably going to work out if you ship enough in your favor.
Dan, real quick, that comment, that applies to my physical therapy care just as much as my videos. I don't try to be the best in the clinic. I want to be adequate, affable, and accessible. That's it. All right, guys.
Oh, the three A's.
Follow us. Check out PT Pinecast, Learn Medicare Billing, and the Dave Kittle Show. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Dave.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com, or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.